Hi, my name is Brian Wood, and I'm a web developer, and I'd love to show you guys how to work with the DMXZone extension called HTML5 Slideshow, and how to pull in images and pull in content using Spry datasets. So I'd love to actually use an XML file to be able to pull this content in, so that maybe somebody could edit it externally, let's say. So I've got a running example here of just pulling in some images and some content, pretty simple stuff on a page, and what I'd like to do is show you how to build it. So let me close this up. Go back over to Dreamweaver, and I've got my starting page here, and I've created a div as a content area for what I'm about to do. I'll delete the text there, come over here to my insert panel, and I'll insert an HTML5 slideshow. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you guys what the options are in there, and then I'm going to pull back out here and go and show you the XML file I've created. So I'll click HTML5 slideshow, and if you notice, you'll see that we have now image source static or dynamic. Now, static is the way it used to work. It always worked. So you can go in and add a folder or a bunch of pictures. Dynamic, if I choose that, it's going to allow me to pick a data source. Now, the data source I want to choose is Spry, and it's XML. Now, I have to have that already set up on the file. So let me go out and do that. I'll click Cancel here. If you take a look, here's my XML file that I've created. It's really simple. I've got a few things going on here. I've got the prerequisite tags out here. We've got some that you'll discover pretty quickly that you want to use, like image, title, width, height. We've got a description and an ID. And we don't have to use all these, but I put them in there. And you see I put a little bit of editing in here, or a little bit of tags, HTML tags, using my CData tags. So there's my XML file I've created. I've only got 3 different pictures here. Now I've inserted the link right here, images JPEG, to my relative images, to my local images, I should say. And I've got those in my images folder over here in my files panel called 1, 2, and 3. Now we could link to Absolute, go to another website, that kind of thing, but I wanted to keep it simple. All right, so I'm going to close this up, go back to index start. Now what I need to do is I need to bind it to this page. So I'll come up under Window, take a look on here. I'm going to go to Bindings, and you'll see over on the right over here that we have our Bindings panel. Let me pull this out so you can see it. Maybe. There we go. Now I'll click on the plus and choose Spry Dataset. Now that's going to ask me to insert a data type, and it's either HTML or XML. Now what's cool about HTML is you can have an HTML page already created and have it detect tables, divs, things like that, or even pull from a live website out of the web, which is kind of cool, and pull data into your page. So we're going to use XML, and it's going to name it right here. You can name it whatever you want. I'm usually pretty lazy and forget that. I'll click Browse to browse to my XML file. I've got it right there. Click OK. And what it winds up doing is just bringing in all the content so you can see it. So I'm going to say slideshow right here. This is the repeating element, so I select that. And down here, it'll show you all the repeats. Now I'm going to click on Next down in the lower right, and it'll show me all the different information we have out here. Now what's kind of cool is we can do things like sort by a certain column if we want to. You can see that right here in other options. We can filter out duplicate rows. And one of my favorites is we can disable data caching. That means that it will not keep it in the cache. So if you upload a new XML file, it'll pull it in and keep it live. Now what I like to do is, let's say for the description here, I want to make sure that it knows that this is HTML. Because I use my CData tags, however you want to call it, and I put the P tags in there. Otherwise, it's going to look stupid. So I'm going to come to column name. What we can do is choose one of our columns and tell it what type to be. So I'm going to say this is HTML. I can say width and height as well. I'm kind of bouncing around a little, but width, I can say is a number. Height is a number. I can do that too if I want to. It's up to you. And there we go. Got my data. Looks pretty good. I'll click Done, and it will bind it to the page, which is good. Now I'll take my Bindings panel and just stick it over there. Now I've still got my cursor right there in that div. I know it's hard to tell, but there it is. And I'm going to come over and insert now my HTML5 slideshow. And what's cool, you guys, is you can always change the XML file if you want to. You may have to reload it in the Bindings panel, meaning you may have to get rid of it and then add it again, but it's pretty easy. So I'm going to choose Dynamic. It'll come in here and say, oh, the data source, I figured it out, it's DS1. Now what we do is, instead of typing stuff in here, we just bind them. We bind each field out here. So you're going to see a little like lightning bolt over here. I'll click on that. We just go out and bind them. So I say image to image, title to title. I'm just telling it where to basically flow in here. I'll say width, height. There we go. Now link, if you want to link the images to something, you can, another page, let's say, or something like that. I'll click description. and the description there, and then ID. And like I said, you don't have to do all these if you don't want to. Click OK. There we go. Now I could go in once I set up my binding here. Could go into advanced and do whatever I want. But I'll leave some of this alone for right now. Just see what it looks like. So I'll click OK. It's going to stick it out there. Now I'm going to save this. It's usually going to tell you that there's some files necessary to get this to work. And I've already got a page created, so it didn't have to tell me that. I'll go take a look at it either in live view or go out to my browser and look at it and see what we get. Now, I've got a little problem here with my XML or my positioning here, but that's fine, whatever. But you can see exactly what it's doing. It's pulling in the image, it's pulling in the text, and getting it to work. Pretty easy. Now, let me close this up and go back. Now, I probably would have to, and you guys can see it actually kicked it outside of my div. That's exactly what happened here. So I'm going to click on this. Go to my split code view. You can see that I've got my DMX slideshow right here. What I can do is I can take this and actually put it in the right place, which is the gallery here. So let me do that real quick. You guys won't have to do this usually. Mine just went in the wrong place. So I'll stick it in the right div there. There we go. Now it's in the right place. I'll save it, go look at it just to make sure. And there we go. Now my div, I've got a little CSS problem here. The width is too wide. I can fix that pretty easily. But all right, let me go back. Now the great thing is, if I want to, I can go back to the document, the XML document itself, and make a change. So if I go to Files here, let's say, and I take a look down here, lower right, open up the XML file, and I want to make a change. So I'm going to say this is Blue Rock Canyon or something like that. This is why we do the XML, which is really cool. So I'll save it, go back to index start, and go take a look at it in the browser. You'll see right there, Blue Rock Canyon. Now, the reason why is because I did not tell it to cache it. That's one of the settings that we had when we went into the bindings panel. So there you go, you guys. And once again, once we pull in this information, we can go and change this to look however we want. So if I go back to Dreamweaver, click on the actual slideshow itself so I can select it there, we can tell it to have a different slide duration, just like before, a little bit faster maybe. Maybe no motion if I want or something like that. I can tell it where to place the image, and we can try different designs, which is kind of cool. I usually like the dark matter because the text is a little bit easier to read. If there's any files necessary, it'll put them in there. I've already done that. I'll save this, go take a look at it in the browser. And you'll see, there we go. Looks a little bit better. Now this div is bothering me, so let me go fix that. So if I go back here, take a look, I'll click on this. You guys will see it's the gallery ID. I'm going to Control Alt or Command Option, click on it, go to Gallery. And I can see the width right there, 500. I changed my widths a little bit here, so what I'm going to do is just take that off. I probably should put a real width on there, but I'll just get rid of the border. How about that? That'll be a little bit easier to see. And there we go. So I don't have to worry about it now. A little cheat, I know. And there it is. That's working with Dreamweaver, working with the HTML5 slideshow, and being able to pull in Spry dataset that you bound to your page using something like XML. Very cool.